Play WVON 1690 AM.
Getting WVON 1690 AM station from iHeartRadio.
Try it out for yourself. America is listening to WVON. The following is paid programming. The views are not necessarily those of this station. We are the talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
Now you're official now, but you got stuff to say. I just been looking at notes. I'm about to stop in the field. Think if I call it the break, the people gon' call it the truth.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, brothers and sisters. You are listening to Straight Words on WVON 1690. This is the talk of Chicago. You're listening to Straight Words on every Tuesday evening right here on WVON, broadcasting live until midnight Central Time. You can hear us all over the planet on iHeartRadio, WVON.com, on their app. But right now, let me introduce to you the esteemed brother, the creator and host of this show, live from the city of Chicago, Brother Naba, Richard Muhammad, editor of the Final Call newspaper. Assalamu alaikum tonight, big brother. How you doing?
Hey, wa alaikum salam, brother BJ. How you doing? How are you, man?
Doing good. I'm doing wonderful, brother. Our esteemed dean of the editors is on his way to the studio. He is celebrating his birthday, Brother James G. Muhammad, and he's going to be here with us shortly. He was out with his family, so I hope he had a good dinner tonight, brother.
Yeah, well, brother, I tell you, we wish Brother James and his lovely wife and family, we wish him many, many years of being able to celebrate with them and many, many years on the planet as he continues to work and to use his knowledge, skills, ability, and spirit to make successful the work of Allah, the mission of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and the work of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. So we, Deontay had a birthday yesterday too?
Brother Deontay celebrated his birthday. Brother Deontay, how old are you now, sir? Go ahead.
Oh, he just a baby, man.
Brother Deontay is our producer here in Chicago. He's our producer, and your brother's been with us from the beginning, so happy birthday to you. And I was also, we got to give a shout out to our producer in Charlotte, Sister Jeanette, who works so hard for us, though, brother, does she?
Oh, she really does, brother, and we got a great show tonight. We're going to start, brothers and sisters, in this hour. We're going to have, inshallah, Sister Charlene Muhammad, who will be reporting on her findings in the case of the 11-year-old girl in New Iberia, Louisiana, who we've been following for many weeks. This girl has now been sentenced to 7 years under incarceration, with some of the sentence suspended, but it's outrageous. She pleaded guilty to obstruction of justice at 11 years old. So we're going to get into that. We're also hoping to have to join us Sister Khadijah Assata Rashad. She's a community and media activist and a radio host of the Open Line radio show, and she's out of radio station KIEE 88.3 FM. So we're looking forward to hearing from her. She's right there in Louisiana. And we're going to have Brother Leroy, Brother Jay Vallot, another community activist, media activist, digital creator. And he's also a video host for Open Line TV. And he's also on Open Line radio show KIEE 88.3 FM. So we're looking forward to really hearing from them in this hour. Then from 10 to 11 Central, is America headed to Civil War? We're going to have as our special guest Salim Wakil of WVON AM 1690. I'm really looking forward to this conversation. So callers, we want you to tune in, chime in, to talk about that very, it's a pretty important thing to consider. Can America survive another 5 years? A lot of people are saying no. that there's going to be a civil war. So we want to get your thoughts on that. In the last hour, we're going to do a kind of black media roundup or a news roundup. We're going to talk about events that we are paying attention to, or we feel people should be paying attention to. And Brother Brian Muhammad of the Final Call staff writer, will be joining us to talk about international news and God. So stay tuned with us for these next couple hours. And you can join the conversation at 773-591-1690.
And brother, now Bob, that movie just came out, I think it was last month, about Civil War. Yeah. Everybody's going to see it. I want to go see it. But the trailer on it was very riveting, especially when there was these reporters were going around to different places and they had to go through these checkpoints. And there was a militia that asked them the question, what kind of American are you? Well, the reporter said, we're American. And then the militia member said, what kind of American? And then everybody was like looking at each other, kind of like riveting. And that's going to be a good movie. There was another movie out a long time ago that was talking about anarchy and civil war. I can never find that movie again. Me and my family were watching it. It was so realistic. You could just imagine this happening, these checkpoints trying to get out of neighborhoods, trying to get into neighborhoods. And, they did that, brother, during Katrina, remember? Remember these people in these different communities would not allow black people to cross the bridge
into their community.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and that movie.
That's going on.
Yeah, that movie is done exceptionally well at the box office as well. So, Brother James G, is that you? I thought I heard you come in, man.
Yes, sir. Assalamu alaikum, brothers. How y'all doing, man?
Doing well, man. How are you?
Oh, man, I'm doing well. I was listening on the way in here, and I heard Deontay X had a birthday, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah, he had a birthday, man.
I heard you call him a youngin'.
He's a youngin', brother. When somebody young enough to be your son, he's a youngin'. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
right.
I hear you.
He's definitely old enough to be your son.
Happy birthday, Brother Deontay, man. It's great.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
What's happening, man?
Brother?
No, it's wonderful, real quick. It's wonderful, wonderful. Every day that you get the opportunity to do that, man, it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. We just need more of them like that, more families like that.
We absolutely do. So we got on the live line, we got the sister out of Louisiana, Sister Khadijah. Can we bring Sister Khadijah in as we start our first subject?
That's a good name.
It's a beautiful name. Khadijah Assata Rashad.
Oh, man. Three beautiful names.
Okay, very good. Let's bring Cliff in. See what Cliff want to comment on. He's a regular and a big supporter. Yeah. And then right after Cliff, let's go to Sister Khadijah.
All right, Cliff.
I'm making my call. And listen, it's always an honor to listen to you, brothers, man. And I respect you a great deal. And happy birthday to Brother Deontay. Am I saying his name right?
Yeah,
Deontay. Well, always a positive attitude, man. Just to hear his vibration and his vibes over the phone, greeting me, man, is without a doubt, man. It's peaceful, it's soothing, and so much respect. But listen, I'll get right to the point. Brother Salim is coming on.
Yes, sir.
Good brother, and so him and I have this dialogue all the time, and it's in reference to racism. And brothers, I hope you can bring it up, but the segue into the topic, this country, and the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan speaks about this all the time. He talks about the racism and the hatred that's directed towards no other people but black people. And you have callers that can verify that and confirm that, and there's things that we can do as a people to sustain this agenda to annihilate us, and I believe, brother, that's what the agenda is. So this upcoming civil war, these are white boys and fighting amongst themselves to try to find out how soon and which one's going to have the power to destroy us, not these fake European Jews, not the immigrants, but black people, in my opinion, because we are the chosen people of God. So with that being said, and I'll end with this by saying that because we are God's chosen people, black people, everybody knows this, every other ethnic group knows this except us. So what we are guilty of doing, whether it be through colorism, classism, we just have a whole deal of hatred amongst ourselves as a people. And it's not black racism, because we don't benefit from black racism. White people perpetuate racism, but they do it to their benefit. And they deprive and they oppress us. We have no power or no resources to oppress no damn body. As a matter of fact, brothers, correct me if I'm wrong, and I'll end with this. We love everybody except ourselves. So we love the white man. Okay. We got our professional athletes, our entertainers that got money. You know, they got to get them a Becky and married outside the race. So I don't see no racism at all. As a matter of fact, if anybody were to call anybody racist, it'll be the white community, along with some Negroes, calling the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan a racist, which is the farthest from the truth. He has not oppressed or done anything to white people. So anytime a black person speaks truth, the white man will call him a racist or an anti-Semite or an anti-Semitic. And so they switch the narrative. And so in closing, I promise this is my last word. The point I'm making is that we are not racist, and please don't confuse racism with being pro-black.
That's right. All right.
And I want Negroes to understand that. So thanks for taking my call, brother.
That's right, Cliff. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot.
Let's get my cash app. Make sure you got the money.
I'm going to check, Cliff, but I know you're going to
it ain't much, bro, but I do whatever I can.
Hey, bro. Hey, it's enough. Keep giving. Thank you.
Thanks,
go to Sister Khadijah.
Thanks,
Salam. Sister Khadijah, are you there? Is she there? Does she need to unmute? Do we need to unmute her? What do we need to do? Sister Khadijah?
Can you hear me?
We can hear you now, my sister. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam, my brother.
We're very, very glad to have you, sister, tonight to really talk about this case out of New Iberia. Why don't you take about a minute and tell us a little bit about, we kind of read your bio, but tell us a little bit about what you do.
I've been agitator, activist for the good causes in our communities, from police brutality, excessive force, to cheating in, bringing up about the cheating in some of our different schools when it came down to the black not having enough credits to graduate. And yes, indeed, and they go out of their way to let some of the whites go and take extra credit to graduate, and which they wasn't supposed to. And just from plumb corruption from our parish councilman who took and stole money to the unjust system where they put a sprinkle of blacks in these big time jobs at the courthouse. They'll put a sprinkle here and there, and kids right out of high school can come and get a big time salary, and without no hesitation, when our young men here can't get a decent job to pay the child support. And
wow.
Is off too.
Well, we got a lot going on in Louisiana. So, Steve, I wanted to have you talk about the case of the little girl, 11-year-old black girl in New Iberia. She was initially charged with murder. Let's check this out. Initially charged with murder, but there are many who felt that she was charged with murder because they wanted her 15-year-old brother. Now remember, he's also a child. Well, eventually, there was a plea agreement, I'll put it like that, okay? Where this 11-year-old girl pleaded guilty to obstruction of justice. So she's been sentenced now to 7 years. Is it 3.5 years suspended? She's also been in prison. I don't care, but when somebody got control of you and you can't walk out the door, that's jail. That's prison. I'm not calling it no daggone juvenile detention. Especially the way that they treat black children and the status of black children in Louisiana as well, which is some of the worst in the country. But Sister Khadijah, what is your thoughts? What are rather your thoughts on this case? It makes no sense to me, but please go ahead and give us your thoughts as somebody who's there and who's been there.
Yes, well, my thought is that had she been an 11-year-old white child, it wouldn't have gotten this far. You're gonna take and you're going. First, she was charged with second-degree murder. Then you had obstruction of justice and also accessory after the fact. Now, what an 11-year-old girl, 15-year-old young man, and a 32-year-old white man, what all they have in common? You know, why did it have to go this far? Now, the mother is hemmed up in jail also. The father, who has been at our young child, in the courtroom, you know, they got it all orchestrated. You got the mother in the orange uniform. You got the young. And by
uniform, you mean prison uniform.
That's what I meant. In the orange.
Yeah, go right ahead. I just want to make it clear for our listeners. Go right ahead, sister.
Right, and it's just hypocritical because if there ever was a family, and there are many of them that are dysfunctional, then it's this particular family, and we all have to pay accountability to try to help them out. But nobody really knew too much of anything that this was going on. You know, you're in the courtroom and she's really trembling because Judge Roger Hamilton Jr. in the testimony in his case order is that you agreed to testify against your 15-year-old brother, and that's the only reason why she got what they gave to her. And it's just a whole mockery. If a young child would have been a white child, we would not be here at all, because they would have taken care of it beforehand. In 2003, and we're talking about the 16 JDC. The 16 JDC is one of the most corrupt judicial system in existence. You have the handful of those that continuously, if they want, how they want, and there's no repercussion from it. But in October of 2003, in Iberia, Dr. Falterman, who was a coroner, his grandson Nicholas killed his younger brother James Falterman III over a TV remote. Now, the corrupt police officer Chad Hazelwood Jr. is the official officer that went out there. However, there is also a Chad Hazelwood Sr. who works with the state police, who is corrupt also, and they were able to go ahead and put up the report that it was negligent homicide, and it was like a complete accident and everything. And we're saying is that, and he was like 15 at that particular time, so if they could show some type of leniency for the Dr. Falterman grandson who killed his little brother, James Falterman III, the Jr., and why can't they show some type of compassion for our young child?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a great question. Brothers and sisters, this is what we're talking about. We're talking about 11-year-old black girl in New Iberia, Louisiana. She was sentenced to 7 years, and she will spend 3.5 years was suspended, and she will be in custody of the Office of Juvenile Justice for the next 3.5 years, and for the remainder of the 7 years, she will be required to take firearm safety classes. I read something that says she will also be responsible for helping for the funeral expenses for Kameron Bedsole. This is the white man who was found dead, and he was only he was found dead last November, brothers and sisters. So this case has moved very, very quickly. Couple things, Sister Khadijah. Judge Roger Hamilton is black, and he is an elected judge. Is that correct?
Yes.
So
yes.
What are your thoughts about his role in this case? Did he have no choice, or did he just make a particular choice?
Well, I think he didn't really have any choice. Roger
You saying he didn't have any choice but to send her to jail?
Oh yes, he could have made a choice. He could have made a difference. As a matter of fact, he's listed as he's going to be revisiting the case for the next every 4 months. But he had the choice that he could have done this. But I don't know if it's cool or what. But I mean, just because you're black and skin don't necessarily mean that you have people of color. They're better interests. I mean, he's been Bo Dewey, who is the district attorney out in New Iberia. Phil Haney, Robbie Bonds, they have been running the 16 JDC for umpteen years. You have a David Alexander Jr. and Harry Granger, who they have served almost 30-something years, 34 years on a crime that they did not commit, that they knew they did not commit, and they still have to pay restitution for the rest of their lives. So, if they're ever, and then what's so crazy about this case is that there's no precedent. There's never been a young child to be in that type of situation and receive what she received. We really feel, being a little white girl, it would have been really nonchalant. They come out in full force, the police officers in their bulletproof vests. We can't say too much of anything in the courthouse, even though we still wind up talking. And the policemen, they ladder-gagging with the white family and everything like that. They even put like a, when they try to separate you, well, they put like that in between the in the center of the courtroom to make sure that the whites leave out without nobody harming them. There was a whole. And you're talking
about the hearing. You're talking about the hearing, the recent hearing where the little girl was sentenced I want to bring in, and Sister Khadijah, don't lose your point. I want to bring in Leroy, Brother Jay of Vallot. He's another community and media activist, digital creator. He's the host of the Open Line TV show and director of the Community Defender TV show, which he's co-hosted with Brother Daryl Muhammad for 25 years. And he's got a show. You can hear him also on KIEE 88.3 FM. Brother Jay, are you there?
Yes, greetings, good people, and walaikum salam to everyone. And I really appreciate you, Brother Richard Muhammad, been following you for years, and Sister Khadijah and I, who are what we say partners in justice, not partners in crime. My brother,
right?
Listen, we dealing with, and I want to go right into it because we know we don't have much time, and being on the radio, we're doing a radio show in the morning. We dealing with the 16 JDC, and all one would have to do.
Now, when you say the 16, hold on one second, brother Jay.
All right, my brother.
When you say the 16th JDC, he's talking about the 16th Judicial District. Which covers New Iberia, Louisiana, and the judge, the black judge, that put this girl in jail, and I'm not calling it no juvenile detention. It's Judge Roger Hamilton. Go right ahead, Brother Jay.
Yes, and I'm very familiar with him. Being critical on my platforms, I'm one who criticizes for facts, based on facts. The 16 JDC, which encompasses the parish, which is counties, Iberia, St. Martin, and St. Mary's, a large judicial district. And out of that district comes old Governor Jeff Landry, hometown. It's from the same area of that Judge Roger Hamilton, who, in my opinion, prides himself on a person who want to out Clarence Thomas. And you get what I'm saying. And I'm going to be critical because my facts been proven.
Is his party affiliation, is it Republican or does he just follow the governor?
Who is Republican, part of the Louisiana Republican leadership? The Louisiana Attorney General's Association, when these are people who organized that helped organize that January 6th situation. Mr. Hamilton has always been at the forefront of wanting to be close to those type of people. And we asked him when he was running why he's embracing all the way that alt-right movement. Now, if just last 2 weeks ago, Governor Jeff Landry called a press conference with a bunch of his supporters, and one of the people at that press conference was Judge Roger Hamilton. They were calling for the revamping of the Louisiana Constitution, and Judge Hamilton has a lot of input on the way it's going to be changed. So I asked the question, why is a judge who's all up in the press in South Louisiana on that case, right? Why is he at a press conference standing behind the most racist individual such as Governor Jeff Landry, who's a avowed racist in the 16 JDC? He's the governor to lock him up and throw him away, the Keys governor. He ran on that.
Brother Jay, let me get in because I want you to explain something to me and to our audience. Now, from what I hear, there's some who feel that the black Republican judge, and I'm calling it because that's who he is, brother. Understand that. I'm not for the Democrats nor the Republicans.
Right.
But this happens to be his affiliation. He has a relationship with the governor who passed, was it earlier this year or last year, where the governor passed a range of all kinds of legislation related to quote-unquote being tough on crime. And part of that legislation was basically if you're a juvenile, like 16, 17, 15, you could just be charged as an adult just like that. So there's something just like that, brothers and sisters, as a regular thing. Not as the exception, but the rule. So, Brother Jay, I've heard some say that they feel like what was done to this little girl reflects what the governor wants to do around the state. What are your thoughts about that?
Exactly. Jeff Landry has taken office and got let me tell you, the people who are pushing the legislation, advancing new bills in the Louisiana State House, and all these chairmen on these committees are people appointed by Governor Jeff Landry, who hails from the same parishes that Mr. Roger Hamilton comes from. And one of the some of the laws that they first advanced were juvenile justice laws. As you know, on last year they were housing what they would describe as juveniles in Angola, the penitentiary in Louisiana. They were housing them there. There were numerous scandals with the Louisiana Department of Family Services that oversees the children juvenile justice system. There have been mass firings. There have been mass people being reshuffled. This system in Louisiana is broken in what they call the juvenile justice system and the system in the prison system. So you know what we're dealing with. There have been many in the last 10 years who have fought, Republicans and Democrats, to change the criminal justice system from Louisiana being number one in incarceration. And what Jeff Landry, what they took 10 years to do, to change, to give a little relief, he took him 2 weeks of getting in office in January to change everything back to almost Jim Crow. If you get what I'm saying, my brother.
Yes, and also remember too, Brother Jay, that a couple of years ago, Roger Hamilton Jr., Judge Roger Hamilton Jr., he got spanked by Bo Dewey, the district attorney, and
he wasn't a judge. He wasn't a judge then. Yes.
Right, he was a district attorney, and they shipped him off to Lafayette for a couple of years, and then when that judgeship came open, he wound up being on there, coming in.
Some would say he got in by cheating, by using some of the voting irregularities with the changing of the precincts to get in, and a couple of people accused him of cheating his way into that office. So. We are dealing with some dire situation in our state, but our voice is our only way of getting the people informed. However long we still have that voice.
Hey, Brother Jay, I just want to ask you two quick things. I mean, you said the system is broken, but as I listen, man, I think it's working exactly the way they planned it. And you know, they got it working like clockwork. But the judge, you say he was elected, and my question is, was there? I don't know if most of your judges are baked in the way he is, or whether there's other option that the black community went for, or did the black community go for Hamilton, hoping that he would, act like he's a black man? And also, is he in the community? Does he live among the people, or is he out somewhere with his white cohorts who think and are acting like him?
There would not be enough time on your platform to explain how this thing operated with him. He actually had, I'm going to just give you one prime example. We had a big, all you have to do is Google New Iberia, Louisiana, the Victor White case, and you would understand. We had one of the most corrupt, racist law enforcement entities that the feds came in and cleaned out somewhat. And one of the deputies who was accused of beating black men on sight, one of the undercover narcotics agents, when Judge Roger Hamilton was campaigning, many people in the community told me he had one of the worst deputies as his bodyguard. So that tells you a lot about the intimidation factors, the buying of maybe somewhat what we heard, buying of votes by giving people a couple of dollars or buying them food and so forth. And there was a extremely low voter turnout at that time he got elected also.
Wow.
And I participated in the election. I voted for the other person that my vote didn't even count. And I complained to the state election board and I never got any answer. So it is what it is in some cases when you have less resources to fight back with these people.
I want to go to something that was reported by KATC Channel 3, and this is on their website, and it says that this little sister that some things came out during her sentencing, including that the 11-year-old had a lengthy disciplinary education records and a lot of absences and had attended 12 different schools up until now. I read also something that said at one point she was in possession of a gun or something like that. But to me, if this little girl, and that's all she is, if this little girl has been through that kind of situation, she didn't do it to herself.
Right.
She's a child.
Right. She's a child. Khadijah.
Go ahead.
There was no information. In this case, it's so strange because it's a prominent case in the news, but in the issue about the juvenile, where they deem that information getting out about a person. But there was so much not talked about whether she was evaluated by some independent organization or medical outreach, talking about her mental health. Any medical experts, witness came forward and defended her behavior because of the nature. Anybody could see an 11-year-old has not formed the thinking, the mindset of an adult. And only in that 16 JDC would something like that go forward. It's so much of a travesty, Brother Richard. I don't even want to, sometimes I can't even stand or talk or think about it, you know?
Yeah. Now, you mentioned, brother, but go ahead, Sister Khadijah, go ahead.
Yes, and by the way, it was the responsibilities of her parent to send her to the school.
Right.
But if the parent herself, she's on drugs, she's mental. I mean, how much authority do you think that she can? I mean, yes, that is factual with her being in all these different schools, but and less time like that is because the mother can't do too much of anything. She has issues. You have just about the entire family have issues, and when I say issues, I mean not mentally stable. The drug effect of these drugs and everything. And, you know, even though
remember, it's a broken system. The Louisiana Department of Family Services has had one of the biggest scandals where they had hearings before the last governor, well, the Democratic conservative governor, I would say. You know, Brother Richard is right. You got two sides of the same people. But the scandal was so bad at the Department of Family Services, a lot of people who were supposed to be caseworkers. I mean, this case about this young lady would have long since come up on the radar screen, but because of the what's going on in the Department of Family Services right now, all one would have to do is Google it, and you will find out where they stand.
Well, I mean, you know, to me, it is just outrageous that you talk about all of the different places where this child was staying. You mean to tell me nobody in the school system saw this little girl, and she's only 11 years old? How can she be in 12 different schools at 11? Is it that many schools in New Iberia?
It was also in Texas and New Iberia.
I mean, so the school system, nobody said we got to intervene.
Yes,
right?
and that's connected to what I was saying about the Department of Family Services. They have a lot of input into the school services with young people, and the court system here, especially the court system in the 16 in all the parishes of South Louisiana. There are so much of let's say the mandate of schools. The minute someone's act up or something is happening, they single you out into the so-called juvenile justice system, which is connected to the judicial court. Because Sister Khadijah and I have visited the courtrooms, and we have seen young kids being brought in family court for almost similar issues, you know? So it's indicative of a system that has failed this young lady, this young sister, all the way around.
Yeah, I mean, it's the other thing about this case, like you said, Brother Jay. You said it's been a prominent case but without information coming out. So I'm reading that Judge Hamilton has placed a seal order on evidence related to the case, hoping to protect the juvenile down the line. But wait, didn't the governor's legislation open up allowing for juvenile records to be looked at? So correct me if I'm wrong. So if that's true, right, why are you, I'm going to say, hiding the truth or the evidence? Because the people have a right to know what's happening. The other thing I've heard, and you all can let me know if this is correct, there's been a gag order imposed throughout the trial. And now the girl has been sent. But I heard that the gag order from Judge Hamilton, the black Republican judge, that gag order is still in place after the child was sentenced. How does that happen?
The one in charge make the rules, particularly in Louisiana. Even when you look at it, remember, Brother J, Judge Hamilton Jr. mother worked for the district attorney office for almost 30 years, even though she retired. That's a network. That's a network, you know.
And Brother Richard, I see this young lady as an example that this incoming governor and those who just, no matter who's in power, Louisiana has a conservative, somewhat racist, I'm going to replace the word conservative, racist criminal justice system. And she is being used as an example for the nation. And we have to be able to find a way to speak out, to expose that, for this won't happen to no other young person like that.
Well, by God's grace,
she's actually being used.
She's actually being used, Sister Khadijah said.
Oh, yes.
By Allah's grace, we're going to continue to follow this. But I want to, because we got about, what do we got? We got about 4 minutes, Brother DJ, maybe 5 minutes. We got about 5 minutes. There's so much, brothers and sisters. We have just started to get into this. We'll have to bring you all back and maybe bring a lawyer too, who can unravel some of this stuff. But I wanted to get to someone that I've seen basically very little talked about. And that's a 15-year-old brother who is a child charged with murder. The mother is charged with accessory after the fact. But this 15-year-old black child, male child, is charged with murder, and his sister will be testifying against him. Do you all have any information about how he's doing? Does he have a lawyer? What's happening with his case?
Well, I know Reverend Johnson, and I think I've given you Reverend Johnson's telephone number. I know he said he's been trying to follow him close. Also, he had gotten stabbed twice at the facility where he was. The young child, she wound up getting into a fight. Getting into a fight with another. I don't know what you call, with another young girl, and they moved her, brought her close to Mississippi. Then when they found out how really young she was, they brought her back. But it's horrific, because no matter how you look at it, they done lined up the entire family with mother. But the father is involved in some other stuff in another county, so he really don't have too much of a say so. Along with the mother, who they claim obstruction of justice also. So they got them all. They got everybody just lined up. We all lined up.
And at the end of the day, Sister Khadijah, I don't know if the audience knows that the victim is white. And I'm not going to throw water on that victim, but I'm just saying this is how justice is meted out in Louisiana.
Yeah. He's 30-something years of age. But Brother J, what is it that would make the young girl feel that threatened? Well, she wanted to protect herself. What was it that the 32-year-old man done or was doing. You know,
they have sealed the record, Sister Khadijah. They don't want the public to know.
They sure did, and they're not gonna know unless we get some high price attorney to come in.
Well, you know, the government is just trying to push a law to seal public records from the general public. They're advancing new laws in the Louisiana State House to seal public record requests. You cannot get at them. The criminal justice system, local government officials, local government entities. This tells you a lot also.
And that also tells you that the Black Caucus, what are they doing in the state of Louisiana? Are we just call them just some caucuses? You know, because
they claim that they have a supermajority they have to deal with.
Is the Black Caucus the Black state legislators in Louisiana, have they at least said something about this case? At least that?
Not one I've heard of.
Wow.
Not one I've heard of.
And Sister
Khadijah, I've heard of.
Sister Khadijah, did you say that the 15-year-old brother who was in custody of the criminal system, so he's in jail too, that's what I'm calling it, did you say he was stabbed twice?
Yes, he got into some type of fight, they claim, and he got stabbed twice.
Wow.
And from what I understand, he's recuperating from his wounds, but it's just there. I mean, we don't have nobody with enough balls to do too much of anything when it comes down to finding out. You know, we have these representatives. You know, they don't do jack anything, and then when you call them out, they want to get offended. But the
angry. Get them off the platform if we get too close.
Wow. Well, inshallah, we will be reaching out to them because you know this is ridiculous. Brother Jay, Sister Khadijah, thank you. We got about 2 minutes and we need one. So, Sister Khadijah, why don't you take 30 seconds to give a little close, and then Brother Jay, you can take 30 seconds and give a close. But thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate it.
Yes. Oh, yes. Yes, I want to say that if people could write to the 16 JDC and maybe just flood Judge Roger Hamilton Jr. to do the right thing, he has all the opportunity to. Maybe something could happen. Maybe just flood his office and everything. And at the same time, let's just show peace and love for one another, particularly somebody that looks like you, smell like you, and about you, and stop all the other senseless killings that's going on in our area.
Yeah, and I want to say, brother, thank you so much, Brother Richard Muhammad. We definitely follow you. I want to give a shout out to Brother Daryl Muhammad for inspiring me. I'm not with the nation technically, but I'm an adopted child of the nation. I really appreciate
brother, you in the nation, man. Stop playing. Stop playing. You in the nation.
Well, you know, I don't want to disrespect, but I salute Brother the Honorable Minister Farrakhan. Happy belated happy birthday.
Thank you so much. Brothers and sisters, thank you all for coming on. May Allah bless you both. And inshallah, we'll be in touch. Assalamu alaikum.
All right.
Brothers, yeah. Let me real quick make this other announcement, brother DJ. DJ. Go to finalcall.com or get your copy of the Final Call from one of the FOI, because the national correspondent Charlene Muhammad was in New Iberia for the sentence, and you can read her story in the Final Call newspaper. Go ahead, Brother DJ.
That's right. Top of the hour, brothers and sisters. The next hour, we got some more good content for you. Is America headed for a civil war? And you can get some of the information from the brother and sister that just had a discussion about the 11-year-old girl at straightwords.com. We'll tell you how you can donate coming up next hour on WBON 1690, The Talk of Chicago.